Hi, welcome back. My name is Alex, and I get loads of questions asking me how I grew my LinkedIn platform from about 300 connections all the way up to 30,000. This video is about how I did that, why I did it, and what you can do to go even further than that. Stick around for some great tips. Hi, and welcome. So today I'm going to show you some cool insider tips, some do's and don'ts, a big golden rule at the end of the video, and I'll probably walk you through some things that you didn't know about LinkedIn. First and foremostly, thank you. Thanks for being there. I feel really privileged to be able to do this video. I'm new to podcasting, and I'll probably say that a few times, but I'm sure I can give you some tips that can help you improve and grow your platform. This is the part where I'd like you to do something for me. Please subscribe and like this channel. Connect with me on social media. I'm new, as I said. I haven't done many of these videos before, but I'm sure if I can help anyone out there in these challenging times, that would be great for both you and I. So, I've been on LinkedIn. I've been active on LinkedIn for about 5 years. I've got about 25,000 connections, but most importantly, a network I engage with on a regular basis. Many of the people that I talk to have asked me recently if I could walk them through some optimizing tips. Could I help them grow their platform? And of course, that's why we're here today. So, if you have any questions, if you'd like me to answer anything specific, talk about algorithms, what the algorithm likes, doesn't like, just let me know. Reach out to me. I'm quite open to that. For me, LinkedIn is a great place to network, and that's why I do it. I know some people are selling a product. I know some people are trying to find work. I love starting conversations and meeting new people. And it's great for not just that. Of course, I mentioned getting a job. In 2019, if I remember correctly, about 4 million people got jobs through LinkedIn. And there are over 750 million users. But there's a big opportunity there because only under 50% of those 750 million people are active monthly. So there's a big opportunity there to be one of those few that are using it on a regular basis every month. Disclaimer before we get started. I'm no LinkedIn guru. I'm just a regular person, Alex, who's created an organic community online. I had a few viral posts that got a few million views. And as I said, I've grown my network quite rapidly, and I can always tell people more about how to actually get the numbers up if they'd like. And don't worry, we've got some tips there that will definitely guarantee to help boost your platform. But there's a big opportunity, as I said. I use LinkedIn a fair amount, and that's part of it. But definitely my focus at the moment is, as I said, meeting people. There are people who really have services out there, and this can help you too. So like many people, I had an inactive profile for many years. And as I said, I saw an opportunity. I would ask you to look in the mirror, ask yourself, are you going to take this opportunity? Are you going to grab onto this? Because it's fairly low-hanging fruit. It's quite easy. I'm going to do a bit of a walkthrough now. I'm going to get started. Lots of discussion now. And you can see my screen, I'm sure. And I'll show you a few things that you can do from now. Don't worry. there's a lot of common sense coming up. You won't have to have any advanced skills. And I'll show you one golden tip, as I said, at the end of the video. So here goes. My firstly, I'd like to say is, at the top of the screen, we have our header and our picture. Underneath that, we're just walking through the appearance of the screen. Underneath that, of course, we have the name. This, of course, is me in the picture and my name. And this icon here, which allows you to record your name. So you can, of course, let people know how it's pronounced correctly. Here, typically, people put their job title. And I'll talk about that in a moment, why I don't necessarily have the same thing there. Usually the location you have, how many connections you have, LinkedIn still. For now, that will change very soon. For now, have the exact number of connections if it's below 500, and if it's above 500, you'll see this. Some contact information, email, phone numbers, other platforms that you can link to when you join the platform. That's all there. The company you currently work for, you can put that there. You can also change that to a different company if you work for multiple companies or have multiple projects going on. You can put your university as well. Okay, so let's talk about some tips now. If you don't put anything in here, it'll be blank. Now, I think I've seen a shift in the last 6 to 9 months. I think before then, a lot of people just had the stock. I think it's kind of a blue kind of background. I'm happy to see that most people put something in here. Now, I would recommend you to think about what you put in here. I've seen quotes, I've seen questions, interesting pictures. I have seen some quite risque pictures there as well. So you know, I experiment and change my platform, my look all the time. So currently what I have here is large text and a list of core competencies, as you can see. So the idea behind this, of course, is to tell a story, which I think is very important, and to give people some information about me, something that doesn't necessarily show up. Now, bear in mind, people will see this on their laptop, but these days it is shifting towards the mobile devices. So the majority of people will start to see your profile on a phone. So be careful how finely you have your text. Be careful of that. Also be careful of when it's on a mobile device, the picture may be over here. So be careful how that looks. If I remember correctly, of course this looks fine as it is, but on the phone, my picture, I think, is over here. Hopefully it's not over here, but even if it is, you get the idea. Be mindful of where your picture is, whether it's your profile is shown on a desktop or on a mobile device. So get the spacing right. So experiment with that. I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Make sure your picture is a high resolution picture. The last thing you want is kind of pixelated image as your first impression. So do remember that I think we're still in the seconds that people flick through LinkedIn profiles. So definitely choose an image that is eye-catching. Colors help. Of course, we haven't got so much color here, but the text is doing a job as well. The big bold text here, the red here. But definitely think about the look, and that would be the first thing I would say. Think about the first impression. One thing I often do with clients and people that I advise on their LinkedIn profile or other things is to close your eyes for a few seconds and open them for a split second and then close them again and think about what you saw. Did anything stand out? Now, if nothing stands out, maybe you can do better with creating something that does. So, just to go over that part again, try to make sure that your headline picture is an eye catcher. Maybe ask a question, maybe use some search terms in there, something that will catch the eye of a reader, something that will get people to come back, because that's what you want as well, people to return to your platform. The algorithm likes when people constantly check for you, search for you. And again, think about where your profile comes up. Sometimes in the suggested, I get a lot of requests from people who found me from the suggested section. And in the suggested section, it's very small what they see. So try to do something that will stand out in here. So going away from that, once you have a bright image, an eye-catching image, something that you're proud of, that's a hook, of course, your LinkedIn profile. Now, I would recommend definitely having a picture that is fairly recent. My picture's kind of on the back end of recent, so I have to think about that. My hair's a bit longer now, but definitely make sure the picture is clear, is bright. You don't need to have a headshot, but I wouldn't necessarily go with a full body picture because, of course, people want to see your face, and if you zoom out to show your whole body, you might not get a clear image of what you're trying to see. But again, naturally, people want to be drawn. They want to you. They want to be able to think they could trust you. So think about the kind of facial expression you have in your picture as well. But the most important thing is it's bright, it's clean, it's clear, it's high resolution. That matters. Okay, so we'll leave that for now. We're going to come back. There are some big tips there, but I think I've flogged that one enough. You'll find here as well, sorry for my millions of tabs, I'm kind of tabby, but you're just going to have to accept that. I'm sorry, I haven't changed in that regard. So think about your, if you don't have a URL, you can see mine, it's fairly straightforward. If you don't create that, you could have a kind of linkedin.com/in and then loads of text and numbers and code there. So do go ahead and secure your custom URL if you haven't done already. Think about another language. If you speak another language, if you're in a foreign country, you can consider, if you have the skills, to create a profile in another language. Think also about the visibility your profile has. So you can set it on different visibilities. It can be on private. You can show very little text. Of course, mine is fairly open, so people who aren't connected with me can see more or less everything. Think you can also, well, I know you can also think about whether you have your DMs open or not as well. So visibility is an important thing, and we'll get on to that again later in this video, or we could do a separate video about that because there are lots of tips there you can do as well. So the next thing is your name. Fairly straightforward, of course, but as I said here, next to it, there's a new feature, fairly new now, where you can record you or someone saying your name. So of course it helps with pronunciation if you feel people need to have a tip on how to pronounce your name. Something I would add to that is you don't have to put your name in here. You can pronounce your name. My name is Alex Ahom. You can pronounce your name. You could also I think you have 10 seconds to say something. So you could also talk about what you do, what you can do. You can put some kind of call to action in there. You can say, hi, my name is Alex Ahom. I'm a LinkedIn, I'm not a LinkedIn guru, as I said, but I'm a LinkedIn guru. And if you would like some amazing tips on how to turbo boost your platform, hit me up in the DMs or connect with me or whatever. You know, it doesn't have to be that cheesy, of course, but you get the picture. You can actually ask people. You can put an ask in there or a tell in there. So think about that. Think about using that. The next thing down, of course, is this section here. So typically, historically, still today, most people just put in their job title there. I think this is prime real estate. You can put in keywords, search terms. So your headline is very important. That area there is very important. You can put in some, what you do, what you would like to do, what job you are doing, what job you would like to do, what skills you have. You can put a question in there, but remember, there's a limited amount of space, so definitely play around with what you write. But people are going to see this. I've had shorter text in there. I've had one question in there. I've had a statement in there that is very to the point. But remember, you're trying to tell a story. So, I've got a fair amount of connections now. I have lots of messages coming through. I've turned my Wi-Fi off, but I would imagine that the messaging number has changed already since I've started this video. But 100% that is prime real estate for you to think about what you can put in there and put something in there that might result in a connection request, a inquiry for your business, or getting a recruiter or a hiring manager to reach out to you. So you can definitely put something in there, maybe what how you can help someone else. That's always a good way to start, by telling people how you can help them. Of course, usually your location is in here. As you can tell, I have a British accent. I'm from London, but I currently call Germany my home at the moment. And here, if you have below 500 connections, it will give the number of connections, and above there, for now, it says 500 plus. Contact information here, things like phone number, email. When you joined LinkedIn, as I said, I joined LinkedIn years and years and years and years ago, but only really active in the last 5 or so years when I realized something was brewing over here. And I figured a few things out, which I can go into if you'd like to. And as I said, I grew those connections from 300-400 up to close to 30,000. I think I'm trying to scale back now. I realize that some of those people are super inactive. Some of those people were scammers. So I am also decreasing the number, or actively trying to decrease the number of connections I have. But that's purely because I've realized that some of those people are scammers. But in any case, that's over here. You can also change who can send you requests, so think about that. And of course, here is usually where you talk about, you show the company you work for, or one of the companies you work for. You can select what is going here. So I have a few businesses, and this is just my website where people can find me and read a little bit about me and reach out to me. And then the university you went to, if you went to university, you don't have to put that there. So you can think about that as well. But there is so much more down south, further down the profile, but I think often this part gets neglected the most. People forget to put in keywords and search terms. The search bar is immense on LinkedIn. I can again do another video on that, but the search bar, you can find everything in the search bar. And I would encourage people to switch their mentality from trying to kind of force people to send you something. You could try to flip that mentality around, to try to tell a story, encourage people to find you, encourage people to engage with you. And you can do that definitely by what you write in here, and try to think of it as someone who is trying to find you, not you trying to speak to them, but think about how people find each other. Think about what a recruiter would look for when they're trying to find someone like you. Think about what a customer would look for or search for when they're trying to find something, and put that in your profile. And not just here, of course. Yeah. If you can mention that in bold, for example, if you go that way, if you can mention that some way, start telling that story here, and also do that in the next section we're going to talk about, which is the about section. So the picture, that headline, the text here, all very important. You can put some kind of call to action in here as well, but make that profile picture, that headline, stand out. Visuals are important, color is important. Those things matter. So here you can tell recruiters or everyone, if you're looking for work, if you're out of work, if you have a job but you're tentatively or undercover looking for something else, you can put that in here, and you can decide who sees that. And you can list again your skills. This again is changing. Maybe by the time this video starts to get views, it will have changed already. But this is also an area that is neglected. So a lot is happening at the top, and LinkedIn are doing that to subtly remind you that you put so much effort into going all the way down and putting detail in here. But oftentimes people just look at the top and they switch off quickly. So can you put some clear, concise pointers into who you are, how good you are in the top here? So definitely think about that. The next part, of course, is the about section. Very important section. Lots of controversy on what to do here. I currently have, I'm doing a bit of A/B testing, kind of both ends of the spectrum, putting a minimal amount of text in the About Us section, maybe repeating some of my skills and hooks and headlines and key search terms in there, and then also writing kind of a War and Peace endless book and list of things. But I think what's most important to get you started is think about what people see before they click on see more. I've got quite an extensive about section right now, but I made sure to tell people that I'm passionate about creating successful, inclusive spaces. So as I said, I'm not a LinkedIn guru. What I do, I'm doing many things. As I said, I have a few businesses, but I started one of Germany's first co-working spaces, flexible workspaces in this part of the country. So I started that about 7 years ago, and built a huge network of creatives, freelancers, startups, entrepreneurs, 9-to-5ers. Everyone was welcome. We focused on inclusivity, and that's what really set us apart, and that was great. I have just closed that. However, there's still a lot of things bubbling up on that part. Of course, because I've been involved with that so long, there are many companies who want to pick my brain or ask me questions about the future of work, which is of course a huge topic. So I'm also consulting, coaching, mentoring around the future of work, flexible work, diversity, inclusion, building inclusive and purposeful workspaces. So I'm really passionate about that, and I'm available. So of course, if anyone's interested, just reach out to me on that as well. But I've worked with a few great companies, massive companies, household name companies, and I just wanted to let people know that. So you should also think about whether you're new to LinkedIn or not. Remember, this video was especially great for people who are new to LinkedIn. Try to have some kind of headliner, interesting point in your first few lines of your about section, but play around with it. Write what you would like to promote, and save it and have a look to see what comes up when you press see more. So when I do see more, I put some icons in there to draw attention to the fact that I'm available, that businesses and recruiters should reach out to me, and some of the things that I've done, some of my competencies again, and my values. For me, values and competencies, skills, they're very important. As a founder, as a hiring manager, I think it's very important. So and again, going back to LinkedIn, those keywords, those search terms, they come in handy. You'd be surprised the difference in the search, how much I kind of arrive in the search bar if I don't have those keywords in. So I would definitely say put those keywords in. The next part of the platform is, of course, your featured section. So you can choose some popular videos, some popular posts that you've had to be able to be featured. So I have written some articles for Adidas. I've written some articles for some internal blogs at Adidas, some external ones as well. I've done some things at Apple, Google, some cool car companies, and business pages as well, talking about productivity, leadership, the future of work. So I've listed here in my featured section. This will change, or let's not say change. This will improve in the next few months, but it'll still look like this. But this featured section is also a great place for you to put some articles that you would like to promote. Now, if you don't have any articles that have thousands of views or hundreds of likes or whatever, if you haven't got to that stage yet, that's fine. That's no problem. You can cherry pick what you put here. So whether it has any views or not, it doesn't matter. You can still talk about building a winning work environment. You can talk about teaming up with people, the importance of rest and recovery. You can talk about being different. Whatever you want to talk about, you can put it here. So if you want to show that you are a team player, you're responsible, you're passionate about your work, whatever it is, you can do that here. The next thing, so definitely think about what you put in your featured section. It's definitely a place that you could invest a lot in. So, as I said, here, this is private, but nothing here that I wouldn't share with many people. These numbers for me fluctuate quite often, depending upon how active I am. I'm a family man, so I also have some requirements at home, and I'm not posting as much as I have done in the past. And I can definitely do videos on how often you should post and what the feedback or return is on that. But this number definitely changes dramatically depending upon how active you are when it comes to the feed. And the LinkedIn feed is a very close second to what you can do here. But it is a second currently it's a second. That will also change, I think. But for now, still, you can definitely make a huge impact, especially when you're new or a beginner on your own platform before you even post anything. So search appearances, I think this is this week. I'm not sure if it's the week or I can't remember. But again, for the people I'm talking to in this video, and I can do a more in-depth video for people who are kind of maybe intermediate or experts. I also have some pro tips for experts as well. This is kind of what's happening for me right now. On my last post, that's the number of views. So I'm experimenting right now. I'm doing a lot of testing with different kinds of posts. There are many kinds of posts. I won't talk about that too much in this video, but there are video posts, there are short text posts, long text posts. You can attach a picture, you can attach a PDF, you can do a poll, different kinds of post. So be mindful of that. This is not so important for you when you're starting up, so I will move on. Of course, this is the feed. You can see what you've done in the feed there. So we'll move on. And I'm going to wrap up the video after this, the experience or these sections over here. There's not much for me not much detail I want to go into when it comes to the experience section, because really the important thing is to get that first part right. What I would say is the experience section, of course, is a list of the work that you've done. So you can change the order of this. Be mindful of the dates you put in and the order you put it in. Be mindful of the titles you use. We're talking about LinkedIn gurus. Do you want to use modern job titles like guru or ninja? Sometimes it doesn't work out because your next employer might not see the value in that. So think about the kind of job title you put on. So I have put consultant, speaker, coach, mentor, and entrepreneur. Those things are all true. But I'm mindful that all of those things have been mentioned and repeated throughout my profile. So those keywords and such things have been repeated multiple times. Those things are all true. I want that to be clear. If you just were just quickly to see that, that would still be true and people would notice that. I've gone on to explain and give more information. I would also say try to give detail if you have, and show how you've added value. So if you've increased sales by a certain amount, if you've reduced costs by a certain amount, if you've won something or done something amazing, try to demonstrate that. There are different ways to demonstrate your successes or what you can bring to the table, but this is definitely a place where you can put that. You don't have to copy out your whole job description. I think what people are looking for, if you're looking for a job, is how you can add and bring value. So think about how you can tell that story. It may not be intuitive, but it definitely is something that LinkedIn and those kind of people on LinkedIn are looking for, how you can bring them value, what you're good at. So I would definitely think about putting that in there. So that's the kind of detail. My startup, my co-working space, and some of the other things that I'm doing with companies, all kinds of companies as well. Your education, you don't need to put that in there, and I think that's going to be bumped down the list of importance very soon. Young people, not just young people, people who have gone through education. Education opens doors, but I think, I'm 40 now, and what I did at high school is almost completely irrelevant. In general, I've learned so much since then. And now what I've done at university is almost irrelevant these days. I've learned so much since. And it was a while back now. I think that's going to be reflected very, very shortly on LinkedIn, as it's being reflected in the workplace as well. LinkedIn Learning, I will do a video on that also. There are a number of codes, and if anyone would like a code to get LinkedIn Learning for a period for free, I would definitely encourage it, because education learning, let me say, is still an important part of the journey. Demonstrating that you are able to learn, that you're open to learning, and you want to learn new things, that's not a bad thing. And people can see here that that you are reading up on stuff, on current events. So I would definitely take advantage of that. There is a free trial via LinkedIn, and there are other ways to get LinkedIn Learning as well if you don't want to pay for it. Volunteer experience, I would definitely put that in. Again, think about keywords, search terms. Sometimes businesses are looking for leadership, communication skills, influential skills. Can you demonstrate that? I've been a football coach, I've been a football player, I've trained people in a sporting context, in a business context, in a tech context. At Apple, it was very much, we spoke a lot about education and learning and growth mindset. Did a few courses there as well. So if you can demonstrate those things in your volunteer experience or in your kind of licenses and certifications, the courses you're doing, that's great. Skills and endorsements. Big mistake people make is they just click, they make any 50 skills and they ask everyone to just endorse them. Don't do that. Here's what you should do. Think about the skills that you want to promote on your platform. Think about the skills that you want to show other people that you have, and click on those. Now, if you look for jobs on LinkedIn, like many of those 4 million people that got them in 2019, if you look for jobs on LinkedIn, you will see that many of them have some skills that they require or they would like you to have. For example, just for argument's sake, entrepreneurship, building relationships, and leadership. Now, if you have those skills on your platform or on your profile, when you see a job on LinkedIn, the job section up here, you'll have a blue tick next to those skills. If you have, for example, just clicked, painting, football, skydiving, good friend, whatever the case may be, Instagram influencer, if you've picked all of those things, then naturally you won't have a blue tick next to the skills that you need. So here is a important tip. Think about skills that you know you have that are important in the workplace context, maybe important for the kind of jobs that you would like to have, maybe even look at some jobs you'd like to have, even if you're not going for them, and see if they have some skills that they would like to hire against, and write those down. Now, if entrepreneurship comes up, if leadership comes up a lot, if for example, project management comes up a lot, then use that. So yeah, I have learned that the hard way. There are some things in here that in hindsight are not so important for me right now. Trying to give an example. Well, it's not so important, but the point is that there are some skills in there that I definitely have in real life, but I haven't listed here. So think about the skills that you would like to promote the most, but don't just scattergun, just choose a bunch of skills and then ask people to endorse you. I can definitely do a video about asking for endorsements or getting endorsements. I have a load of endorsements from people that I've worked with, people that I know, and of course, as you can see, some people that I don't know personally. I don't think many people in my network who are connected to Bridget actually know her, but that's from a few years ago when she was giving out endorsements to everybody. And that's also why I think that this section is not so important, because there are lots of people who don't have skills but have hundreds of endorsements. So don't put too much effort into that, apart from selecting the correct ones. You can reorder these, but just try to be mindful of the skills that you choose. One of the skills, for example, English. I'm an English person, so I don't necessarily see English as a skill, but it is. Now, I'm living in Germany. I've also done some work in other countries, and some jobs that are English speaking on LinkedIn would have English as a skill. Now, I can, of course, when I speak to someone, I can tell them, hey, I'm English, or I'm speaking English, they will realize. But before I get to speaking to them, if I can tick a box automatically, that helps. So think of some skills: English, Word, iOS, PowerPoint, Excel, Keynote. As I said, relationships, leadership. Look into it. Do your research. Recommendations are a good thing because they're not so easily gamed. You can't just send people connection requests and asking them if they request, can you smash the recommendation endorsement button for everything. You can't. People don't give out recommendations so much. So I definitely would recommend thinking about your recommendations, and whilst you're in the job, whilst you have connections, whilst you have good rapport with people, that's a good time to ask. It's difficult to ask people after you've left the job or 3-4 years later, hey, remember me, can you write me an in-depth recommendation? So we're getting to the end of the video. I know it's a long one, and I hope there's been some value there for you. But definitely think about looking at your profile in different sections. Top section, super important. It is changing. The algorithm is changing. The look and feel is changing. People who have a certain amount of influence will be getting a new status on LinkedIn. That in future videos, if you're not aware of that already. But absolutely think about telling a story, using the right keywords and search terms. And if you have written, like me and many people online, if you're constantly publishing information, think about posting things on Medium or groups where you can physically post a blog or an article and link those things to it. So I have a number of articles done about me, or I have written articles in newspapers, in magazines. I've been interviewed on TV for various things, usually around workplace strategy, workplace experience, the future of work, flexible work, diversity, inclusion, co-working, also football and coaching and mindset and all that stuff. So if you can link those articles, if you have anything, or if you don't, make your own and link them here. Definitely do take advantage of that. So for my final golden tip, as I said, I have 9 golden tips to make a good LinkedIn profile. And the tips will get progressively more complex, but of course the more that you do, the bigger the payout. The first one is, as I said, low-hanging fruit. As I said, there are 9 of them that I'd like to share. This video is just the first one, and I think you've guessed it. I'm going to go back to the top. It's make the headline great. Make it clear, make it concise, get people hooked, make it sticky, maybe a call to action in there. And of course, think about the language that you're going to use, the tone of language. Don't switch tones throughout the profile. It doesn't always work in your benefit. Use be consistent with the tone and the hook. If you'd like more support on other areas of the channel, let me know. I'll be happy to do more videos on that. But the golden tip for today is high resolution picture here. Think about the kind of picture you want to promote. Make it clear. Definitely use this as a tool, and those keywords and search terms will do you well. Okay, well, thanks for joining me again. Make sure you do this as soon as possible. Tell me how you get on. I believe that if you put in look at those points, go through the video, listen again. If you implement some of these changes, especially when it comes to keywords, search terms that are throughout your profile, and the image, the look and feel, how does it catch the eye in a few seconds of looking at it? If you change that, experiment a few times as well. If you can change that, you will definitely be seen more in the search. You will start to rise up in the search bar. You'll be suggested to other people more. and you'll start to get more requests. And I want to tell you the reason why I did this. As I said, I wasn't really selling anything. I really wanted to have that conversation, start conversations, meet people. And a question I often get is, well, Alex, what's the point of having 20,000, 25,000, 30 connections? Let me tell you, this is the golden point as well. Let me tell you, when I had 300, 400, 500 connections, very little was happening for me on the platform. I wasn't getting many requests. I wasn't getting many opportunities. I wasn't in many conversations. Now I have close to 30,000. Well, I had 30,000. I've started to kind of get rid of some connections that aren't bringing any value. I get a lot more invitations to events. I get a lot of invitations to opportunities. I'm meeting people of interest. I'm having better conversations. So there are more opportunities. So that would be the reason to consider growing the number of connections you have. It's not necessarily a vanity situation. I'm not trying to tell anyone that I'm better than them because I have lots of influence on the platform. I don't think I have that much influence, but I'm definitely having better conversations and more opportunities. So it's not about showing off the number I have. It's about what comes with having a larger network. Definitely more messages, more people to respond to, which is never easy to get back to everybody, but there are possibilities. I've definitely had some great possibilities over the last few years. So with that being said, thanks again for listening to this marathon video. You've been watching my screen. Sometimes it's not been moving. Hopefully you are able to get some tips from what you see, from what you hear. If you have any questions, let me know. Maybe I'll do a video, next one with my face, if that helps. But hopefully you got some insights in there. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.